Welcome back to the It's Just Sport podcast, A League of Her Own. I'm Joanna Reardon.
I'm Niamh Talon, and today we have Tiegan Ruddy with us. Tiegan, let's start off with a little bit about football. How did you get started?
I think it's kind of through my brother. He's 4 years older than me, and I think we just used to play on the road. And yeah, I just when I seen him go and play with Ballyulster, the local club, I just wanted to join as soon as I could.
Were there any female role models that you have? Obviously, you had your brother growing up, and he obviously brought you into football. Was there anyone kind of when you were growing up that you were able to point and be like, yeah, I want to be like her, or was it all male? Because when I was younger, it was Ronaldinho.
I don't really think there was many, to be honest. When I got a bit older, I would start going to the Ireland senior games, and I was looking up Emma Byrne. She's from Leixlip, so I was kind of looking at her and stuff, and her granddad actually gave me her jersey before when he seen me playing on the road or something. So that was kind of when it kind of started maybe becoming more female, but yeah, it was kind of always male.
When you were playing as a kid, were you playing mixed teams, or was there a girls team and stuff, or how was it set up?
In Ballyulster I played with the boys until 14s, and then I moved to Peamount, but there was a girls team as well started for a few years in Ballyulster, and then it kind of dismantled when we all went to Peamount. Yeah.
Peamount technically stole all the good players from Ballyulster.
Yeah.
How how was it, I suppose, playing with the boys? I know obviously, Vera Paul is kind of thinking, that the only way, or one of the main ways for girls to kind of develop is to be playing on a mixed team. So for you, what were the differences? What did you learn? Were you a bit more competitive because you were the boys are kind of not mocking me, but they didn't want to mark a girl? I know other girls have said that to us before in the past. What were your experiences playing on mixed teams?
There was a few times where the boys would actually probably try smash you up nearly in a tackle, I think that kind of way. But I think it definitely benefited me. I think technically it makes you better and sharper and stuff like that. And just it's quicker. The game is just quicker, I think, with the men. So yeah, definitely helped me. I'm really glad I played with the boys.
And tell us, obviously you went over to the States for a while. So what was it like when you went over there?
Yeah, that was a bit mad. Kind of happened at the last minute. Mick, the coach over there at CCSU, he's from Ireland, and I didn't know him beforehand, but he just was really, really good at me. Went over with Roma, and she's still obviously over there. And yeah, it was just a whole different experience. I roomed with someone that I never met before in my life. And it was just, it was class. It was really, really good. Really good.
Do you feel the experience helps you not only grow as a player, but grow as a person? As you said, you're in an entire new country, new friends. You can't exactly, I remember when I moved abroad, they were oh, you can't ring home and ask mommy to do your washing. Was it the same with you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I had to grow up kind of quick. I mean, yeah, it was mad. I don't think I'd ever done my own washing before. So yeah, it was mad. But yeah, it definitely helped me grow as a person, 100%.
What were the differences kind of over there? Obviously, women's football is massive over there, and the facilities sometimes in the American colleges can be outstanding. So what was it in terms of setup and that?
Yeah, it was probably more professional than here. Because we were training every day nearly. And you'd go into the athletic training room beforehand if you wanted physio. Basically that's what their physio is. I just a huge room with 15 physios or something, and it's just you can go in there whenever you want. And yeah, our dressing room was big, we all had our own part, and just it was just, the setup was definitely better, facility wise and stuff. Yeah, and just training every day was really good.
I know people who've gone to America before, and they've said the difference in tactics is very different. Europeans very technical based, and people were. I remember I was talking to Eve Badan, and she was basically talking about how as a goalkeeper it was about transition for her rather than play out the ball. What did you find were the main differences in tactics, or did you feel you had to change your game any bit?
Yeah, I probably thought I was nearly probably better than I was when I went over there. I kind of found out a lot of stuff about myself maybe. I I thought I was like strong for my age maybe, but I was going over there and I was getting battered off the ball, like and like in the air I would have thought I was good, but I never won headers over there for the first semester anyways. So then I just kind of had to adapt my game. I'd say technically, me and Roma going in there were probably like technically we were definitely fine, but we had to kind of work on our other side of the game. Like their fitness was, they were very fit. We done like this mile Monday thing. It was like every Monday we ran a mile like around the track, just basically raced each other, and it would just have you in having awful anxiety for the full day. And then you just had to race each other. But yeah, like stuff like that, like I'd never done that, but it was just like your fitness levels had to be higher because you're playing in the sun as well for half the season. So yeah, no, it was, you had to adapt. I had to adapt a lot, but you know, it was great. It was a great learning curve.
Are you still doing Mile Mondays?
Absolutely not. I'll never do another one of them in my life.
Talk to us a little bit, like obviously you got injured when you were over there and have since moved home, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I actually got injured out in my green in my estate, but like I came home for the summer, and I planned on going back over in the August. At that time I was training with Shells, so we were training like 3 days a week maybe. Here, I just was doing something by myself on the green and in a new pair of boots, and I just done my knee. Yeah, so I kind of had to decide then quick enough what I was going to do. And I think once I knew that it was my ACL, I just was like, right, I'm staying at home because I just trust my physios here more maybe, and had a good relationship with them here and wanted my family around me kind of to do the yeah.
Was it going to be, as you were kind of saying, like kind of mentally to get over an injury, like is hard enough, and as you said, you probably wanted like family around you. Like how hard had it been, like not just physically but mentally, to kind of, you know, help with the rehab and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was massive. Like I'd never gotten an injury that big before. But yeah, my family were great. Like just I have a brother and a sister, and like we're all really close. And just yeah, it was. I wouldn't have. Well, I don't know what would happen to me if I went over there and I probably would have been so lonely, like just doing the rehab by myself, watching them train every day. Yeah, and then I got a life coach here actually. Danny Crowley's his name. We started doing life coaching like throughout my rehab, and that really, really helped me, like change my perspective on like so many things. So it was really, really good.
That's like actually really interesting. Like you're the first person I've heard say like you got like a life coach. Like what does, like I've met some life coaches but I haven't like worked with them, so like what, like for people who don't know, like what does the life coach like do with you? I know you like change perspective, but like what is it, the same as like a psychologist basically?
Like I wasn't going to him saying like, oh, like I'm really, really down or like stuff like that, but I was kind of just like, I was in a bit of a rut. Like I was just kind of like, oh, I want to just improve my life basically. Like what do you think I could do? Blah blah blah. And you just kind of sat down with him and just went through like areas of your life that you could maybe improve, like if it was like friendships, relationships, family, stuff like that. And he just kind of give you little pointers, nearly like little, like they're called like little activities you can do. So let's say after a session with him, he gave me 3 little things to do, but like they'd be tiny, like one of them was like to start like a gratitude journal. And that really helped me. If I was having a bad day, then it would be like write down 3 things, and I'd be like, right, Tiegan, you're not having a bad day, you're fine. Yeah, just small things, but they all kind of just add up. It was really good.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's definitely more talk around that type of thing and sports psychology, and like people are definitely valuing sports psychology and that a lot more now and talk about it, where like Irish people I think previously are a bit like, no, we're fine, like we can just get on with it, where like you can get so much value out of something like that.
Oh yeah, like I probably, if you'd have said that to me a few years ago, I'd have been like, I don't need that, like I'm grand, like, but oh yeah, 100%. I'd be saying, I think I'd be annoying the girls, being like, you should get one, but oh no, 100% benefit me on and off the pitch. Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of like me doing like meditation. I'm like, you definitely need to like get on this, you know? And everyone's like, you need to shut up about meditation.
Talk to us in terms of like, did you like set goals with them and that, or like how does it kind of shape everything?
Yeah, I feel like not many people, like when I say to people, like they're like, what's a life coach, and they're like, what do you do with them?
Yeah.
It's it's not really like setting goals really, but like what, like let's say I said to him like, oh, I think I want more of like a really like a purpose outside of like football and stuff, and then he'd kind of be like, right, so like where does your interest lie, like what makes you happy, that sort of thing. And then through like more sessions and more sessions, like you just kind of figure out what makes you tick, kind of like, and just little positive changes basically. Doesn't have to be like, all right, we're gonna go do something drastic, but it's little just small things. Like I started reading more, like that was like, and I never read before really, and that was really good. But yeah, and it made me just more accountable basically. I just, yeah, I think he was class, unreal.
Are you still?
Well, I'll be going after.
Are you still working with him like now, or?
Yeah. I'm still in contact with him.
Cool.
Talk to us a little about your kind of return to pitch then. Obviously, back after injury, you got back on the pitch. What was that like? And back to Peamount.
Yeah, going back to Peamount was what I wanted to do when I came home. I think all the girls there, like a lot of girls that I grew up playing with in Peamount, were still there, so and stuff like that. So yeah, when I got back, I think it took me nearly 16 months to play a match, and that was only a few minutes. But yeah, it was probably longer than maybe expected. But my physio was just kind of wanting me to take the time. But no, it was unbelievable getting back on the pitch. Like, it was class, unreal.
Yeah, we've talked to like Chloe about her injury and everything, and taking kind of that time, and it obviously is hard. You mentioned there about looking for things like outside football. Did that kind of injury make you realize that maybe football might not always be there, and that after it you're gonna have like need other things to keep you interested? And
yeah, 100%. That's kind of why like my parents are always kind of like, oh, like get your degree and stuff like that. So like I'd love to play like professionally, but I know that I should definitely get my degree before I try. No, yeah, 100%. It's made me realize like I've so much more outside of football than I probably thought, and football's not the be all and end all. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like it's incredible perspective, like to have, like I mean, definitely like a lot of footballers be like, no, just want to play football. Obviously, as you said, you returned to Peas, and obviously, they have such a winning culture over in Peamount. Something, I'm kind of here in Cork City. So like for you, was it like competitive? Like going back in, like were you like, oh God, like the standard has risen since like I last played? Like how were you kind of overall when you were entering back into Peas?
Yeah, like since I left Peamount, the team's gotten a lot better. Like I never would have played with Karen or Anya or Claire or any of them. So yeah, the standard definitely has gotten a lot better since I left first. Yeah, it was hard. Like it was hard to obviously break into the team. Like last season, I was coming back at the end. Like only played like maybe 3 games, I think it was last season. Here and there, but yeah, no, we're such a good team to come back into, because we're all just like, there's no point playing with players that are worse than you. Like you want to play with players that are better than you. So, it's good competitive. Like we're all like pushing each other for the starting 11, so it's really good.
Yeah, and like as you said, go on, Eve.
Talk to us about like Women's National League in general. Like there's definitely push for getting more visibility and getting people more engaged. Have you kind of noticed the difference, especially like in COVID, like they're really trying to stream all like the matches and everything, to kind of increase interest in women's football here?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like the streams are like, I never would have thought that would happen in the league when I was playing. That's a really good positive for the league. And then social media just in general, like kind of when you go on to like Twitter or anything, you're kind of always seeing something like about the league or like some footballer in the league. Like, so it's really good. Yeah, the visibility is really good.
We're like awkwardly looking at each other. This happens, we talk over each other, or then we like both pause.
I was like thinking, oh, I think my internet has dipped. So I was like, please keep going.
It's working again.
Oh, yeah, like I mean, last year was obviously such a successful year for Peas. I mean, you won everything that was available to you and like on the table, and obviously you had more people like watching it because people were like locked in. How different is it this year with Peas? Like, is what are you kind of building to achieve? Obviously, you want to obviously maybe do back to back doubles. So like, is it even more competitive than it was even last year?
Yeah, I'd say it is actually. Because you kind of have like we didn't obviously sign that many like people or whatever. Like a few of the girls stepped up from the 17s. It's like the likes of like Becky and Della and like Chloe and Orla, like they're pushing people for spots and like we're all competing with each other. Like so, like it's not like we brought in like huge stars, but we still have like that competitiveness about us. But yeah, like I think we definitely want to win everything again, and it'd be nice to maybe go and go to a next round in the Champions League as well. But like that's a while off yet. But yeah, that's definitely one of our aims, I'd say.
Yeah, like it is even incredible. With the Champions League, obviously, like last year, you pushed like Glasgow kind of all the way. I know obviously you weren't may not have been involved, but like overall, like what was what was it like? Do you think for the other girls being like playing up against like professional outfit, you obviously being amateur, semi-pro, even at best sometimes, like taking it all the way to for a professional team, like what was the vibe like within the camp? Did you kind of feel like you could not achieve anything, but was the standard like driven up then like automatically?
I think we kind of just wanted to maybe prove a point. Like I feel like when the draw came out, people were like, "Oh, Glasgow, like good luck to you." But like because a lot of girls would go, not a lot of girls, but like a few girls have obviously gone from here, like to sign with Glasgow, and like that's like a good thing for them. So it's kind of obviously seen as a step up. But I think we kind of knew in our own heads, like, oh, we can. When it got close to the time, we were kind of like, I think we could actually like really put up a fight here. I think like we played so well on the night. Like, I think technically they were probably playing the ball around like quicker and stuff like that. That was probably the main difference. But like with like passion and heart and everything, like we really like we had chances as well. We really put it up. Some yeah, it was class. It was an unreal experience.
Yeah, no, I remember watching it. It was actually a really good game and definitely gave it a good crack. So fingers crossed we'll see something like that again soon.
I know.
Tell us a bit about kind of like the funding and everything in football here. Like obviously you've seen what it's like in the States, and then the women's game is growing here, and look, it is a different kind of situation to the men's team at the moment. Like in terms of like funding, and you're talking about going up against teams that maybe have more professional players and that kind of thing. What kind of changes do we need here to like give you guys more opportunity?
Like it's easy for me to say, I suppose, but like because this is what we all want. But I think like when you look, for example, like you look at the Scottish setup for the last few years, they've with their like underage system girls, they all kind of live together. Not all of them, but like the best players kind of live together, and they are training together every day in the gym together every day. And you're kind of like, why can't we do that? Maybe like we have like we beat these players at underage and like for Ireland against Scotland and stuff like that. And you're just kind of like, why can't we do that? Maybe. Obviously, like the money needs to be pumped into it if it's there. But I think like maybe like even like Northern Ireland as well. Like I know I'm just comparing here, but like if they do it, why can't we do it? Like they train like with their teams like or their like home based teams like every week. I know that FAI put on home based sessions here, but it probably would benefit us more if they were like maybe every week and stuff like that, just for like the girls in the league.
No, it's definitely worth comparing because like you have to look and see what other people are doing that's working, and then see if you can replicate something like that. Talk to us about national team ambitions and kind of what's on the menu there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's my dream, like childhood dream, to play for the senior team. Like yeah, that's just number one goal really in my life. But I'm hoping that's gonna happen one day. I'm not gonna fully stress about it right now, but like yeah, that's my ambition in the next while. I won't put a date on it.
She doesn't want a date recorded.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna keep that in my head.
Yeah, don't pencil that down now.
That's gas. Like what, like, you know, obviously looking at the national team, obviously at the moment, you know, obviously they're kind of so close, yet kind of so far, you know, like at the same time, like, you know, if Vera Paul was obviously sitting in on this interview, like listening in, and you were like pitching yourself like to her, like what are you like gonna like say to her? I don't know if that's like a life coach thing that I've just thrown.
On this podcast now. What would I say to her?
Yeah, so you're like pitching yourself in to be the team. Like obviously you're like, look at my performances, duh. But you're like, listen, Vera, this is what I bring.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like at the minute, like I need to be still playing better and like being consistent. Like that's what I need to get like for the season. I think like just consistency, play as many games as I can, just perform in them. Yeah, that's what I need in my game. So if I can stay injury free, touch wood, and just keep progressing, like keep getting stronger, keep getting fitter. Yeah, then I think I'll put myself in a good position, hopefully.
We'll tag her in this.
Talk to us a little bit about like when you were at school playing football and that. Like I know you were kind of heavily committed from a young age. So what was it like, kind of juggling school and playing football?
Yeah, I tried to get a good balance of like studying, like with my leaving cert and school and football. At the time when I was in my leaving cert, I was playing with Shells. So that was obviously a longer commute out there, but I don't think I found it too hard. I think the international camps were the ones that maybe caught me out. I'd have my teachers kind of being like, what is the story going away again? Like 2-week holiday. But I said I would try and study when I was away, but it never really happened. Like
You're honest anyway.
No, it didn't really happen. Like no, I don't know if many people did. Sive Doyle, she was a studier when we were away. Heather studied as well. I was friends with two geniuses, so that maybe could have pushed me, but it didn't really, I don't think.
I was the same in school, it's fine. Like I literally sat next to like smart people and they were like, it'll rub off on her, and I was like, no.
Yeah, you kind of, you're obviously kind of in a good position from a young age, and like how did that kind of go down in the school? Like were you getting supported, and how does the conversation even come up for someone that wants to play sport at an elite level to kind of get allowances and support like in school?
Yeah, I think most of my teachers are actually fine with it. If it had been hockey, I think it would have been a lot better. That was a big hockey school up there in Wolston's, but like my actual teachers were fine with it. Kind of most of them. They just
How do you even start the conversation though?
I would just kind of go up at the end of class and be like, "Oh, I'm going away again for 2 weeks," or I'm going for a training camp. Yeah, I don't really know what, like they were all happy for me, like, but they were just like, you just need to keep on top of it. You need to keep on top of it. Like I missed all my mocks. In junior cert, I missed all my mocks, and that they were all kind of freaking out about it. But I kind of knew it was fine. Like it was only, not that it was only the junior cert, but yeah, no, they were actually really supportive. To be fair to them, they actually were.
It was only the junior cert and it was only the mocks. Like, I mean, if you were missing the real thing, I could understand a freak out. But like the mocks, like, I mean, it's there for a reason. It's called a mock for a reason.
Yeah, no, because sometimes people in sport, like some people are very upfront and they're like, okay, like this is what I'm doing. And then sometimes things that happen outside school, like students can find it difficult to be like, well, actually, like I am, you know, good at this sport and like giving it a go, or, you know, did you kind of like go in with your parents and say like, I'm actually playing football at a pretty high standard, you need to help me here?
I actually don't think I ever got my parents to go in for me. I can't really remember, but no, I think I had a good relationship with like most of my teachers, so they were kind of like, yeah, go for it, Tiegan, like that's your dream, like do it. So yeah, it's good.
Good.
Social life wise, you know, obviously, you know, like 16 to 18 is like the prime of, you know, like teenage hooliganism, to say the least. Like you were obviously playing football and stuff like that. So like, was there any time that you like were like, oh, I really wish I didn't have to go to training. I really want to go to someone's 18th, you know, like blah blah, anything like that? Or was it just like totally like, look, this is fine, this is sacrifice I have to make, and actually I'm getting to do cooler things and hang out and go, I'm not going to say what because we advertise to young girls.
Yeah, 100%. There was definitely times where I would have loved to have gone out, and like I think my Debs was maybe the biggest thing. I didn't get to go on a Debs, like my Debs or the Solutions Debs, so that was kind of like, oh, that's sad. But like I also knew then, like thinking like you're going to do something that you want to do as a career, so like you're fine, like relax, like that's really kind of how I looked at it.
You have cooler galas to go to anyways in football.
Exactly, that was what I was maybe thinking in the back of my head.
Yeah. Sure, look, there's been loads of people who've missed Debs in the last year and possibly even this year. I was going to say we'll get you to a Debs, but with COVID it doesn't look promising. But
I think the only actually Debs event I went to was actually in your house, Orla's Debs. I went to leave from your house. That was the only time I ever got to do anything like that.
Go up and have a look.
Yeah, I think I was on crutches that time. Yeah.
To preface this, she went to school with my sister.
Right.
For a bit of context.
Sorry, yeah, should have put that.
No, I think it should have been left like context less because it just looked like Tiegan randomly showed up at your like sister, like your house, like, yeah, like so desperate to like see a Debs, like hobbling along on crutches. You know, she's like, oh my god.
Yeah, Orla will be great, delighted for the shout out now.
Shout out for Orla.
Yeah, look, you miss out on some things, but obviously you get the opportunity to do so many other like cool things as well. And at the time it can be hard, and I think sometimes, you know, girls or boys that are interested in sport like can find it hard to make those decisions, but that's great.
Whoa.
Haven't moved obviously in a few minutes, but yeah, I guess it's just about like seeing the bigger picture really, which can be hard as someone like as a teenager or as a young person. Like,
yeah, I think like maybe when I was younger I used to kind of maybe get more like maybe upset about it or something, being like, oh, like I really wish I was going here, wish I was going here. Then I always just had to put it into perspective, being like, Tiegan, like you have training, like this session's going to make you a better player, to make you the player you want to be in the future. So I kind of just had to look at it like that.
What would your advice be for like young girls that are interested in sport and like maybe either finding that kind of thing hard or just not sure if they want to stay in sport in general? Because there's like lots of reasons that girls kind of, like girls and boys, but obviously we're talking about girls here, like might consider dropping out, and like what have you got from it?
I think if you're enjoying it, if you're really enjoying it, I would definitely stick at it. Because not just the sporting benefits, like you make friends as well, stuff like that. From my own point, what I've got from it, I think like friendships is just huge from it. I've made friends for life, like yeah, I think the friendships is huge. And then like the travel, I know obviously like not everyone is blessed with all the travel that like you get to do when you're a footballer, but the places you see, like the people you meet, I think, yeah, like it's just amazing. So yeah, I would 100% be an advocate for staying in sport, but only if you're enjoying it. Like if it's causing you misery or you're getting upset about it, then maybe pack it in. But other than that, like I think it's really good for your mental health and everything. Like if you're having a bad day, you want to go and go training, hoping that it's a good session. It'll just put you in a better mood. Like I think the benefits of it that way is insane. So yeah.
Yeah, and like if you're not, like you're saying, you're not enjoying like a sport, there's so many other options out there. So like shop around, and you know, if you're 16, 17 and don't feel like it's too late to start some other sports, because there's loads of sports that you can, you know, really enjoy or actually start off like. There's loads of sports that everybody's learning like at 16, 17, 18, like whatever it might be.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think like that. I think that happened to me actually at some stage. Like I was playing Gaelic all the way up, and then I stopped. And then when I was like 17, I was kind of like, oh, I think I want to go back. And I went back and I was really enjoying it. So I think like it's never too late to join a sport. Like I think I'm gonna take up boxing. Not like go be a professional, but like I think like on the side, like maybe like just
give it a
different.
Go.
Yeah, like not just don't do it at any extreme level, but like I think just test it out. Why not?
Yeah, no, definitely. There's loads of sports that you can start. Like sometimes I think some of the ball sports can be kind of hard to pick up later. But like there's a few sports like something like boxing where you can go down and try it and like see what it's like, or like something like cycling or triathlon or something. Like loads of people will take up those like after, like people think that they've like peaked at like 17, 18. You're like, no, like you can try something else, it's grand.
100%.
Yeah. I think we will leave it at that. Thanks, Emil, for taking the time to chat to us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in action. I know it started off a good season already.
Yes, hopefully, fingers crossed. Thanks very much for having me.
Best of luck anyways with it, and yeah, I know if you obviously come across Park City and you beat them, I'll be sad. I'll be rooting for you anyways, so it's fine.
2 weeks ago, Joanne, that's already happened.
I know, I've suppressed it from memory, Tiegan. Like it's like gotten from my head at the moment.
She's a big football fan.